Welcome to your hips and hamstrings class. Let's get started. We're going to start seated. Have any props around you that you would like to support your practice? Find a nice tall spine and just let the shoulders roll up, down, and back. Close your eyes. And let's start just orienting ourselves to the space you've chosen to practice in, the sounds you have around you, what the mat feels like beneath you, how your clothes feel against the body, and the quality of your breath. And taking a moment just to listen in to how the body is feeling, where you're feeling tension, imbalances, sore, fatigued, knowing that the goal and the intention of this practice is that you finish feeling better and feeling restored. So don't push your limits too far, keep it pretty chill, but I want you to feel better. So one more breath, feeling all the way up to the top. Exhale to let it go. And let's actually do one more. Fill all the way up. Chest rise, belly rise. And soften. Amazing. All right, let's come to tabletop to start. I'm going to start with my favorite, cat-cows. Plant your palms down on your mat. Feel hips over knees, shoulders over wrists. Inhale, drop your belly down, feel your chest up. Exhale to round. Again, inhale, floating forward. Exhale back. And one more time. And soften. Amazing. All right, let's take child's pose, big toes together, knees wide. Sink hips to heels. Could use your block for your forehead, otherwise sink all the way back best you can. Especially because we're just getting right into it, I invite you to feel free to shift into your hips side to side a little bit. And knowing if the body feels like moving, to allow for that to be there. You don't have to be perfectly still in your yoga poses. There's opportunity to shift and shimmy around as you might need, and so trust your body's instinct to pull in that direction. Last breath here. Amazing, and then roll yourself upright. Let's find downward facing dog. So flip your toes behind you, send your hips up and back in space. Be really mindful of the hands pressed down. Glide the hips back. Maybe you pedal at your feet here. Because this is obviously about hamstrings, I want you to start to play with the difference with how close the feet are. So if the toes are close together versus the feet wider. It's a slight difference, but it's still impactful, especially if the hamstrings are a trouble spot for you today. And feel free to have the feet anywhere in between those lines. Big breath, really gliding the hips up and back in space, shining the chest towards your shins. And reach your right leg high to the sky, as high to the sky as it will go. Reach, 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 breathe in. And knee to nose, look between your hands, step your foot through. Let's find low lunge to start. Low lunge, key points. Knee over top of your ankle, sinking forward. Back knee can be lifted or lowered. If you're trying to recover today, I invite you to let the knee just soften down. If the shoulders and chest feel really crunchy here, utilize props. So if you have blocks, go ahead and use them. You can have blocks on either side of the leg. You could have them on the inside. Do what feels right. Big breath. The invitation is that you let the hips sink closer and closer down towards your mat, space between ears and shoulders. Good, and if you've taken a class with me, in real life, we've most likely done this. So it's almost called hip flossing. That's what I'm gonna name it, hip flossing. You're gonna glide your hips back in space. The goal to start to straighten the front leg, flex your toes back towards your face. Blocks can either stay out in front of you or you can glide them back beneath your shoulders with you, whatever you prefer. Float forward, sink your hips down. Exhale, glide the hips back. And depending on your energy, you could do this nice and slowly, or you could do it a bit faster. The goal and the intention is to keep your breath within your awareness. Floating forward, floating back. Amazing. Finishing off. Come back to hands and knees, blocks just to the side if you feel like you're gonna use them next time. Back to downward facing dog, flip your toes and trips up and back in space. Shake the head out, yes or no. Paddle out your feet. Really think about relaxing the head down so the ears kind of rest within the window of your arms. When you pedal out your feet, you're gonna be really able to focus on getting that extra stretch for that one hamstring at a time. So that could really be beneficial for you. On your next breath, your left leg will float nice and high. When your leg is up in the air in three-legged down dog, don't forget to continue to shine the chest towards your shin. Knee to nose, flick your foot through between your hands, slide your back leg, soften your knee down, set yourself up for support if the blocks help you. Don't be the tough one. You don't need to forego the use of props because you think that makes you a better yoga practitioner. Use blocks, especially if the benefit of any specific practice is recovery. Utilize blocks to support you. If you don't have blocks, I highly recommend grabbing some. It just gives you more space. It allows the body to have some ease and some relief. You want to maximize your time if you're here. And so if you're trying to be Superman in a gentle yoga class, you're not going to get the most out of your practice. Okay? One more breath. And then we'll do some hip flossing. Glide your hips back in space. Forward and back as you wish. Feel free to pause in one variation longer than the other. And in these pause moments where we know what we're doing and we're just moving through the motions, can you keep your focus on how the body is reacting and resonating with the movement? Can you be aware of what's passing through the mind, observing your thoughts? Good, one more time. And back to center. Perfect, perfect. All right, downward facing dog. Plant your palms, hips up and back. You're gonna walk your feet up to meet your hands, forward fold. Give your head a little shake out, yes or no. You can even sway a bit side to side. Bend your knees as much as you'd like here. They don't need to be stick straight. Regardless of how bent the knees are, you want to focus on thinking about tipping your sit bones high to the sky. That's what's going to lengthen your hamstrings, not how straight the knees are. Upper body hangs heavy. If you want to go one step further, you can take your index finger and your middle fingers. You know, loop them around your big toes. And then lift up halfway. Exhale, soften back down. You can do that a few times. If that seems silly to you, then don't do it. If it feels good, then go for it. Once more. And release, roll yourself up to standing. Don't swing yourself up, take your time. Arms reach all the way up to the sky. Bring your hands to your chest. Inhale, arms reach all the way up. Exhale, hands to your chest. One more time, reach all the way up. And hands down. Amazing. All right, let's go warrior two. So you're gonna take your right leg, keep it facing the front of your mat. Your left leg will step all the way back behind you. So your left toes face the long edge. Right toes forward, left toes long edge. Arms out long like a wingspan. Take up space. Sink into your front knee. Make sure you can see your front big toe. Arms out long. Flip your palms up. You can either join me with the arms or skip the arms, doesn't matter. Inhale, straighten your front knee. Reach up, grow tall. Exhale, sink down. Again, inhale, reach up. Exhale, sink down. Utilize your breath. Inhale, straighten. Exhale, sink. You got this. Couple more times. Don't rush the movement. Enjoy the space between your inhales and your exhales. Last one. Beautiful. Flip your palms, exalt your warrior, reach back in space. Sink down 2 inches lower in your front knee. Hold it here, inhale, straighten your front knee up, pause. Mindful that you don't block out your front knee. Sink back down, elbow to knee, side angle pose, reach left arm high to the sky. Think about your thumb being over top of your chin. Good, look down, plant your palms, step back, downward dog. Walk your feet up to meet your hands. Halfway lift, long spine. Exhale, let it go. Roll your head up to standing. Right away, left side. Left foot stays forward. Right leg back. Left toes face short edge. Right left toes face long edge. Sink down, arms reach. You got it. Really sink forward, make sure you can see your front big toe. Let's just catch a breath in warrior two. Gaze past your front fingertips. Can your shoulders soften? Palms flip, exalt your warrior, reach back in space. We're gonna do this backwards this time. Straighten your front knee, pause. And sink back down. Good. All right, now palms flip. Remember, arms are your choice. You can join in or not. Inhale, straighten up. Exhale, sink down. Adding in the arms gives you this full body movement. And on a day where perhaps your thoughts feel really clouded, scattered, busy, adding in arms is going to give you that extra focus to ground you on your mat and pull you out of your head and into your body. Inhale up. Exhale down. Last time. Amazing. Side angle, elbow to knee, sweep your gaze high, thumb over top of the chin. If shoulders are ever really fatigued, you can always just bend the elbow, let the hand rest behind you, that's fine too. Look down, plant your palms, step back, downward facing dog. Let's all take a child's pose. Hips to heels, sink back. Notice if you feel like you have more space in the body here. Good, roll yourself up. Let's take our right leg out long behind us. You're gonna take it all the way out towards the right side. Anchor the foot down. Good, so you're facing the side. Toes are ahead of you. You're gonna float forward and back. So sink your hips back towards your heels and forward. Good, as you do this, you can come down to your elbows or you can stay up on the hands, so know that that's an option. Press down through the pinky toe edge of your foot. And then rock forward and back until you find that sweet spot. So that spot where you're like, yep, that's where I need to hold it. That feels good. Pause there. And you're gonna rotate your toes up towards the ceiling. And then back down. So you have opportunity here to continue the movement, peel the toes up, back down, or you can hold. I really want you to have this self-awareness or build the self-awareness in the body to know what feels good when we're moving through different pose variations. Last breath. Good, and then you're gonna take the right leg, sweep it back behind you in space now. Step it through between your hands. You're gonna tense your fingers, you're gonna lift up off the back leg, float all the way up, high lunge. Amazing. Hold it here, big breath. Now from here, you're gonna take your back heel, press it down. So now both feet are flat. We're gonna do pyramid pose, which is great for your hamstrings. If they're extra tight today, you might wanna utilize blocks, or you could use anything that gives you some height to support the hands. To start in pyramid, your hips are facing forward. They're not open to the side. They're facing forward towards the short edge of your mat. Both legs are straight. Hinge forward through your hips. So think about that front hip crease. You're gonna hinge forward from there. Hands can rest somewhere on the front of the leg, or this is where your props might come in handy, resting hands on your prop. Think about folding the chest over the front leg. Hips stay square. The more you think about tucking your right hip in, left hip forward, it's where you'll get the deeper stretch in your hamstring. Let the chest bow forward, relax your head, big breath. 3 rounds here. Nice, halfway lift. Exhale, soften. Bend your knee. Bring your hands down to your mat. Step back, down dog. Soften to knees. We'll do the same thing on the other side. So now your left leg extends out long behind you. Float it all the way over towards the left side of you. Press down through the pinky toe edge of your foot, rock forward and back. Now remember, if you were to sit your torso up tall like I am right now, your head is over your heart, over your hips, over your knee. So mindful that you're not so far over that you have this, awkward, weird shape. I want head, heart, hips, knee, straight line, okay? Floating forward and back, if you haven't already found that little pocket to hold and breathe into, then land there now. And then maybe the toes rotate up and down, breathing here. Last breath. I'm going to take your left leg, float it up back behind you. Step it through between your hands. Tense your fingers, lift up off your back knee. Engage your core, float all the way high to the sky. Catch a breath, high lunge. Shifting into pyramid pose, so back heel anchors down on your mat. Both feet are flat. Hips facing forward. Straighten your front knee up. Tip forward, hinging with your hips. Hands rest somewhere along the front of the leg or your blocks, squaring your hips off. Also note you can play with the distance between your feet. So if you want feet a bit wider from one another, that will also benefit you. If they're too narrow, it might be too hard for your hips to stay square. So know that you have that option, wider stance. Last breath. Actually, let's do 2 more. I don't want to rush this. Give the hamstrings that time they need. And roll it upright. Beautiful. Okay, let's come down to seated. Right back where we started. Find your tall spine, rest the hands somewhere along the body, close the eyes. Bring your awareness back in. Scan your body from the head all the way down to your toes. Notice the pace of the breath, perhaps even the depth of your breath. Feel free to stay here for as long as you'd like. Otherwise, thanks so much for practicing with me. I hope you feel better. I hope you feel restored. Reach out to me if you have any questions. Namaste.